It was a quiet Sunday morning, the kind where nothing feels out of the ordinary. Commuters filed through Norwich station, sipping their coffees, scrolling their phones, same trains, same platforms, same routine. But somewhere, behind the stillness, something enormous was shifting. A single decision, made in the shadows of Whitehall, had just rewritten a chapter of Britain's transport history. Without fanfare, without ceremony, Greater Anglia, one of the nation's largest rail operators, was no longer private. The state had taken control. And from that moment, the rules of the game changed forever. Before we unravel what really happened, hit that like button, subscribe to Echo Britain, and ring the bell so you don't miss what's coming next. And tell me in the comments, do you think public ownership is Britain's way forward, or a costly political gamble? The most insightful comments will be featured in our next video. For decades, Britain's railways have been a patchwork of private contracts and franchises, a symbol of Thatcher-era economics and modern-day frustration. But beneath that network of glossy branding and corporate logos, a quiet plan was taking shape, a plan to pull the rails back into the hands of the people. And on the 12th of October, 2025, that plan became real. The government officially took Greater Anglia into full public ownership. It wasn't just a bureaucratic move, it was the loudest echo yet of Labour's promise to rebuild Britain's infrastructure for the many, not the few. The Department for Transport confirmed that Greater Anglia services would now be managed by a government-owned company, DfT Operator Limited, the same body already running other nationalised routes like LNER and South Eastern. Behind this moment stood a law passed just a year earlier, the Passenger Railway Services, Public Ownership, Act 2024. That act gave ministers the legal right to reclaim private rail services as their contracts expired, no massive buyouts, no drawn-out negotiations. So when Greater Anglia's franchise reached its end this month, the government didn't renew it. Instead, it quietly took back control, making Greater Anglia the fourth major operator to be brought under state ownership since the 2024 election. Transport Secretary Heidi Alexander called it a proud day for passengers, because from today, the trains to Norwich, Cambridge, and Stansted belong once again to the British people. The handover happened at dawn. The 4:10 a.m. Stansted Express from London Liverpool Street became the first service to depart under full public ownership. For now, everything looks the same, the trains, the staff, the timetables. No sudden fare cuts. No new livery. Even the contracts for thousands of employees have simply rolled over to the new operator. But make no mistake, this isn't just business as usual. It's the largest shift in Britain's transport model in a generation. To understand why this matters, you have to step back. For decades, privatization was the sacred dogma of British transport policy. Companies like Greater Anglia, C2C, and West Midlands Railway were supposed to bring efficiency, competition, and better service. But after years of delays, strikes, and rising ticket prices, that promise began to crack. By 2025, public frustration had reached breaking point. And when Labour swept to power, they brought with them a bold vow: to rebuild trust in public transport by putting the public back in charge. The takeover of Greater Anglia is not an isolated act. It's part of a larger plan, the creation of Great British Railways, GBR, a single national body designed to unify the country's chaotic rail network. Over the next 2 years, other operators, including West Midlands Trains and Gavia Thameslink, are expected to follow. By 2027, more than half of Britain's rail services could once again be state-run. And for some, that's a dream come true. For others, a nightmare in the making. Passengers this morning had mixed feelings. Many welcomed the move, hoping it would lead to cheaper fares and more reliable timetables. Others were skeptical. After all, nationalisation doesn't automatically mean better trains. One commuter told ITV News, "If it means fewer delays and more honesty about cancellations, I'm all for it. But if it's just politics, we'll be the ones paying for it." Even within the rail industry, opinions are divided. Greater Anglia's management said they were proud of what we achieved, boasting a 93.9% punctuality rate between April 2024 and March 2025, and expressed hope that their team's experience would continue under public ownership. But beneath the optimism lies the question no one dares ask out loud. Can the government really run the railways better than the private sector? Because nationalisation is not cheap. Running and maintaining a network that stretches across eastern England costs billions each year. Any dip in performance or rise in subsidies could quickly become political dynamite. And Labour knows it. For them, this isn't just a policy test. It's a credibility test, proof of whether their mission-led government can deliver tangible change where markets failed. Inside Whitehall, the debate rages quietly. Some ministers see Greater Anglia as a model, a symbol of a more accountable Britain. Others fear it's the beginning of a bureaucratic trap, endless paperwork, political meddling, and the slow creep of inefficiency. The unions, meanwhile, are watching closely. They've long pushed for public control but are wary of being sidelined by centralized decision-making. And the private sector? It's alarmed. Investors warn that Britain risks losing credibility as a market for transport innovation. If public ownership expands too quickly, some say, foreign firms might simply walk away. Still, the government insists this is not about ideology, it's about fixing a system that no longer works. The phrase heard repeatedly in Westminster today is public service, not private profit. For a nation that once pioneered rail travel, today feels strangely poetic. Nearly 2 centuries after George Stephenson's locomotives first roared across the English countryside, Britain's railways are, once again, belonging to the people. But will that bring the golden age politicians are promising, or just a new era of red tape and disappointment? Nobody knows yet. But every train that departs under the new banner of state ownership carries that question in its engine room. So as the sun sets over Norwich Station tonight, the signs above the platforms remain unchanged, but history has quietly shifted. No protests. No banners. Just a new kind of ownership humming beneath the steel tracks. The government calls it progress. Critics call it a gamble. And the rest of Britain? We're just passengers on the journey, waiting to see where this train will take us next. Tell me, what do you think? Will Labour's experiment revive Britain's broken transport system, or drive it further off track? Drop your thoughts below, and don't forget to subscribe, because what happens next might just redefine how this country moves. And as always, this isn't the end of the story. It's just the next stop.